Welcome to the David Bradley Show with your host, David Bradley.
What's up? Anyway, how y'all doing? I got a shout out I got to do now, and there's a little bit of a story with this, but anyway, I bought a pickup truck when COVID started happening, and like so many people that bought vehicles back then, we're all upside down and we're screwed. It's just a fact. But I do want to give a shout out to the guys down at Newton Nissan in Gallatin, Tennessee. Colson Puckett was my salesman, and I explained to him exactly why I was in there, and I explained to him what exactly I wanted. Then he got me over to the sales manager, and I was there probably 4.5 hours. These guys worked with me. The sales manager, I'm going to give him a shout out. I can't remember his last name. Hang on. Matthew McSwain. Let me tell you something. These guys worked with me, even though I was so much upside down on that red truck that I was driving. Nissan had some incentive programs that helped cover some of that, and they got me in a car that I wanted, lesser payment. I got better fuel mileage out of it. It's got room enough in the trunk I can put my gear in if I have to do a remote show. And they helped me out so much and really took care of me. And I was amazed because a couple of other dealerships I went to, and they basically said, yeah, well, you're too far upside down. We can't help you, and turned me away. So these guys over at Newton Nissan, you get a chance, go out there and see them. Colson Puckett, Matthew McSwain, these guys helped me out so much, and I can't do nothing but really thank them a lot, and I give them a shout out on the show because they were about the most honest people I've met at a car dealership, and they worked with me, and they took their time, and they helped me out. So now I got the lower payment, and with that, because I went from a truck to a car, I got cheaper insurance, and my car is getting 41 miles to the gallon now, and I do a lot of driving doing this stuff. So just wanted to give that shout out to them and everything. So everybody, please sit back. I met this guy when me and him were working together, and through conversations and everything else, we kind of figured out that we kind of had a musical background on our own, and it was pretty cool. He brings me chocolate chip cookies every now and then. So everybody give it up for Billy Hester, please.
Hi, David. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm tired.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear, man. Work will do that to you.
Well, that's what happens. You work a day job, and then you do this.
Well, you're doing it for the love of it, right?
Well, yeah, and it's growing so much lately that it's unreal. I got press pass. I got my press creds for the CMA this year. So.
Yeah, I saw that. And congratulations.
Thank you. And we'll actually be doing the show.
That's going to be cool. I think we shared a little bit of a story about when I was going to CRS and all that kind of, we had that conversation.
Yeah.
It's really cool, man. Really cool. So
I love it.
But good deal for you, man.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. But I just
pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Now, the whole reason I started this show was just help out artists, which is it does a lot. I mean, it's pretty daggone cool, everything that's going on.
Yeah, I couldn't name it. I mean, you could. How many artists have you had on since day one?
Since day one?
Since day one. So I started flipping through, trying to find out as much information as I could on how many you've had, because I would like to be able to spit that out, but I couldn't because there were so many. And
it's over 100.
Yeah. And you took off at what time? What year?
What year did I start this?
Wasn't too long ago.
End of 22?
Yeah. Right at the end of 22, December, January, right in there is when I kicked it off.
Impressive. Nice.
Yeah.
And I know it was your dream, and that's what's so cool about it is that, you've taken it places. You've taken it to the place, but you just hadn't seen the end result yet. I mean,
Well, I
obviously,
mean,
you got a ways to go. So
I am monetizing, so that helps out a little bit. And then I do have some subscribers that help out. And
you've got. I was going to ask you. You've got some shirts and stuff like that.
yeah, I got merch. We got the new logo going now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I got
That's online though, right? I mean, I already looked at
on
the
merch.
shirt.
Yeah, you go to.
I was going to come here and ask you, can I have one?
No. I think we'll probably hook
No,
you up.
I'm going to buy one, brother. I'm supporting you, brother, all the way.
No, we got on the www.thedavidbradleyshow.com.
Yeah.
Up at the top right corner, there's merch. You just click on it, and it'll take you right to it. And you can pick your shirt color. And
I was
all
impressed
that.
with the shirt colors. I was like, man, typically it's like 1, 2, and that's
Yeah.
it. You have a variety, so that suits me.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend of mine say, "Well, you've got no girly colors," and I looked at it and I was like, "Black, blue, green, brown. There's no
Girly colors.
There's no girly colors."
Get some pink in there.
You know, so I called the nesting project that handles all my merch, and they added all the colors
Well, heck yeah.
and hooked it all up for the girls out there, for the ladies.
That's right. Don't leave them out now.
Well, no, I'm not.
I mean, primarily, if you look at a percentage of your shows, what's your percentage? Women
As
and
far
men?
as male men and men,
Yeah.
yeah, women and female. Oh God, I think it's 67% female audience,
Good for you.
and
Good for you.
which is weird because I mean, if you look at the guest list, I've had more female artists on here than I have male.
Yeah. That's all right. You'll get them cinched up with a nice pink, other color shirts. And
Yeah, well, you know, they can do whatever they want. I mean, it's
that's cool.
yeah. Most of the guys, though, if the guys come up, I end up running out of booze real quick.
You got to pre-order for that stuff, right?
No, I got to put it. I got to put it in the thing where if you come up here for a show and you're a guy, you have to bring your own booze.
Yeah, it's a BYO. You might want to put that on there, BYOB.
Yeah, BYOB on the podcast. Actually, Kate Boytek owes me 2 bottles. So,
Yeah, it's good to have that hanging over somebody's
well,
head.
no, it was her birthday, so I told her, I said, "Tell you what, you take one of the bottles that you were going to give me and just keep it for yourself. Happy birthday."
Oh,
You know?
good.
Makes me wonder if she bought that one for herself. You never know.
Never know, man.
Totally messes me up. But hell, I ain't seen you in a year
It's been a while, man. Yeah.
since I quit down there and went over to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into work. But
I'm
our
just saying that's where we met. You know,
that's exactly right. And as brief as that was, at least we extended the friendship and the contact between
Yeah.
because, like I said, when you started, I was hoorah for you, man. I mean,
I know. I appreciate that.
that's cool that you chase a dream. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just all there is to it.
Well, this is the hardest that I've ever actually been dedicated to something other than truck driving,
Yeah.
and that's because I see where it is helping artists and it is helping people,
Yeah.
and it's getting things out there.
Yeah.
Because there's so many damn sharks out there. You know that. I mean, hell, you've been in the music, and we're not going to tell your age.
You can. I don't care, man.
Okay, well, you've been doing it since 12 in Texas, so
10, yeah. 10. Well, learned the guitar at 10. Wrote my first song at 12.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a long
It's a
time.
long time. And looking back and at everything that I have done, the steps, it's easy sometimes to lose track of those, where you came from and the steps that got you to the next step.
Yeah,
So, we had been talking about me coming on the show for a while, and I really wanted to get my head wrapped around what would I have to contribute, which, immediately in my mind is I'm no longer an artist. I'm no longer doing, but I have stories and I have things and I have my path of what I did and how I got to where I was.
You got the whole history, man. I mean,
Yeah, and there's so many cool things in between there that it's easy to lose track of if you're just not grounded.
right.
And I think that was for a reason, that, you know, I kind of wanted a span of time to be able to reflect
Yeah.
and kind of pull some of that stuff out. So
Yeah.
I think that hopefully this show will reflect some.
Well, see, that's something I tell a lot of people, and a lot of it not in your situation, but in a lot of songwriters and artists' situations, they've been taken advantage of, and they've lost all this money, and they just screw it, and just quit it altogether, and then they put the music that they wrote and created, and it's in a file in the back of a closet somewhere or something. And I'm the first one to say, dig that shit out, man.
Yeah. And, I don't know how to say this. I have a closet of tapes and
Yeah.
songs and sessions and lyrics and titles and hooks and they're all there on, and I'm going to date myself, from DAT tapes to,
Yeah.
the little mini tapes to moving forward to all the CD and everything else. And now, on the phone, God, there's a plethora
Yeah.
of them. And to be able to go through all that stuff would take someone to give me like $2 million to sit on my butt for a while and not have to work, because it would take about 2 to 3 years to go through everything I have. And you'll go and that's nothing, that's nothing, but it's so much. And
Even though to say that, oh, well, that's nothing, that doesn't mean you couldn't build off that.
Right. And there are times I go back and I look at some of the stuff I did and just kind of listen, and I do that and I pluck and go, okay, well, that's cool, I'll keep that. Or but it's having the time at where I am in my life, having the time to go back is just not an easy thing.
No,
but
it's
I
not.
do have those records for my son is obviously interested in music, and he's a great guitar player. And he's starting to write his own songs now. So, some of those things I think he could reflect on and go, that's cool. Why didn't he go through with that, or whatever?
Yeah.
He thinks about it or thinks it's trash or whatever.
Hey, it could be a Prince moment where, Prince went through all of his dad's music that he wrote.
But I think I learned, and I didn't throw away all these ideas from the past. But in Nashville, kind of what I've learned, it's like the newest. It's like, what's next? What's the newest thing? I don't want to know what you wrote yesterday. I want to know what you wrote today.
Yeah.
And so, being here for a while, I've started learning that it's not what we worked on yesterday. Let's work on something that's, because you kind of get that aha moment when you're writing. Sometimes you go, that's better than what I was doing yesterday. That's better than what I was doing the day before yesterday. So those things kind of get built up, and they just get thrown in the bin, the filing cabinet back there, and you never come back to them because you've moved on to better things. So,
Right.
That's kind of been the case, and not that way for everyone, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, and this is what I've told a lot of people, they're writing songs so fast and pumping them out. And it's like they're doing the numbers game. I'm going to write 100 songs and hopefully 1 or 2 of them a hit. Then I ain't got to do it no more. And I'm like, y'all were doing this for the wrong reason.
I would have to say there's probably some of that. I don't know, David, and I can't sit here because I've been out of the game since 2015, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been on Rofax or been pitching or been writing with all my old buddies or anything. So I don't know, and I don't know how that goes nowadays.
Yeah.
I do have an opinion about AI. I had a neighbor come over to me and said he put 2 scenarios inside of this AI program or whatever, and it came up with a whole song about, it was just 2 messages. I think it was like politics and marriage or something, but it wrote a whole song about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he came to me and said, hey, make music to this. And I said, I ain't doing that. No way. I mean,
It's crazy.
but that's, so I really can't say that for a fact they just put them out like, now, there are great writers. and it takes a backbone, and it takes great writers, the A-list writers, to put out some of the stuff that we listen to and enjoy today. Still, but I can't say that some of that doesn't trickle in here and there. I mean, there was a point where, you know, a lot of the songs started sounding the same. Well, just mix it up a little bit and throw some different things in there, and that's kind of where you get your ebbs and flows, and it grabs different people's attention, and it keeps us kind of on our toes. So,
Well, see, that's why there's a catalog. When you do your catalog, you know, and you've got all these songs. Okay, this song may not hit today,
right.
but in a year or two.
Yeah. And there's been plenty of situations like that. Plenty of songs like that have been.
Well, when you get the
from
new
dead,
generation of kids, you know, I mean, that song that didn't take off in 1982 might go to number one in 2002 or 2015, to, you know, whenever.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's always been a guesswork game, I guess.
It always has been.
There's you know, someone get on the train, and we ride that train until that train, you know, can't go anymore. And then we'll get on a different train, or someone will come in and change the direction of the whole thing.
well, that's what happened with the Macarena, man. I mean, come on. Stupidest freaking song ever wrote in my life. Anybody had wrote. I've heard it. And the next thing you know, there's a dance, and you can't go into a country bar without somebody doing this stupid freaking dance, and Macarena through in the middle of the daggum night. I mean,
at the end of the conversation, is it really that stupid, right? Because we're loving
exactly,
it, right? So
exactly.
somebody
You know,
hit a nerve.
how much money did that guy make off that one freaking song?
Right.
And to this day, I bet there's a backwoods country bar, you'll find that damn song still playing.
It don't have to be backwoods. But yeah, you're right. There's different avenues. There's different ways, different things. Yeah, I'd love to go back and reflect on some things. But for me, it was, I had to make a decision to kind of, they say there's a 10-year wall.
Yeah.
Right. There's a wall you hit in Nashville once you move here. Mine was 15.
I've heard some people say 7.
Yeah. So and I went to the extent of burning a guitar case and all in a bonfire in my backyard.
Man. You know, that guitar probably would look good on my wall.
It was my favorite guitar of all times. But kind of let you know where you go and where the challenges you face and the things that this town or any music town could put you against. You know?
Yeah.
And when you're passionate about something, even more so. So you take it personal, and then at some point you kind of throw up your hands and say, okay, well, I'm doing something wrong or whatever. You start second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
And then you just start, just kind of moving another direction or whatever. So I didn't want to do that necessarily straight up because my son had taken interest in music. And I mean, it's kind of like when you got guitars all around your house, a kid's going to go, what's that? And, you know, and eventually you're going to want to teach them how to do it. And then they like it or they don't or don't. But,
he took off running with it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I taught him 4 chords, and he was like doing, seemed like the next week he was just flailing through the guitar. But nowadays the access on the phone, being able to find how to do this, how to do that. I mean, he had piano background, so he knew how to read music. Yeah. So that helped.
I never could.
Yeah, I didn't either. Even moving to this town, I didn't know. I mean, my mom was a piano player and organ player, keyboard player in our church growing up, piano player primarily. And she knew, but I didn't.
Yeah. Well, see, my great grandmother played in church keyboards, and she could play guitar and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And but she played it all by ear. She could not read or write a lick of music.
Good for her. And I did most of my stuff by ear. It was fast forward, rewind. What was that chord? What was that chord? That's how I learned.
Yeah.
Now I did a lot of acting like I could play in front of the mirror, but
oh, I play the hell out of an air guitar. I'm telling you.
Finally I realized, okay, I'm just a rhythm guitar player.
Yeah.
I can provide for myself the music, and I can sing. So that was my strong suit, was the vocal part of everything. I didn't have a strong suit in English in school, so I wasn't a very good writer. But being around great writers, they sharpen your pencil, kind of help you sharpen your pencil.
Oh yeah.
And get to that point. So
I think anybody could actually, if they got good friends or good help, somebody willing to teach them, you could learn all of it and just take your time.
you could, but kind of like, and I'm giving kudos here to my son. You got to kind of take the ball and run with it, right? There are those that just say they want to do it,
Yeah.
but they don't follow through.
Right.
So you're kind of sitting there, kind of twiddling your thumbs, going, "When are we going to hit a threshold here? Have we hit the threshold? Are they going to go further? Are they going to put the time and effort in to do it?"
Yeah. Slap them on the back of the head. They'll be all right.
Well,
Did he?
I find the more that they sit there and watch you and go, "How do you do that?"
Yeah.
That's a telltale sign that, man, I want to do that. you
Yeah.
know? So
Now, is he going country? Is he going, what direction is he going? Do you know?
There's no direction. I feel, in my opinion, that he can do it all, because he's pretty much learned every song that was worth anything in his eyes and mine, that he's learned all the licks to. He wasn't around for some of it to hear the studio musicians play it.
Yeah.
But he listens to it and he can pick it out and go, "This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing," because he doesn't have the internet to do that with my songs.
Right.
Right. So he listens to them and he'll pick them out and he'll finish them out and go, "Okay, I know that song. Let's play it."
Yeah.
So we'll just start playing it and he'll get through it and work on it.
So you ain't got nothing on Spotify or anything? Just
The only thing that I think is still out there, and I'm not getting residuals from or anything, which is from 2006, I put out a project with, I can't even remember, 10 songs on it or something like that.
Yeah.
In 2006. And I was trying to ramp everything up and try to get a deal.
Yeah.
Right. So I was pushing the showcases, went to Douglas Corner, did showcases, 12th and Porter did showcases. So I was right there at that point, and I wanted to have something to give. And I had a good fan base. I had a lot of friends, made a lot of friends when we moved here to Nashville, my wife and I. And they supported all the way through and through. And so I did that. I did that for a while. It just didn't stick, obviously that makes you kind of sit back and think, what can I do different? What can I do better? What can I do? So it makes you start second guessing. And I don't really want to change directions, because you are who you are. Right?
Exactly.
So if it didn't stick, it didn't stick. Maybe it wasn't time. Maybe it wasn't my time. I mean, there's I think the statistic is 2% of people that move here make it, whether it be writing or artists. So that's a very small percentage.
I think that percentage is going to go lower, because you got a lot of people moving in here now.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived through the whole everybody moving from LA to here to want to be a country writer, and then a mix of bebop to country and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's going to ebb and flow like that.
Well, so you got that other influx now that isn't the songwriter. It's not the musician itself. It's all the things surrounding the production, the engineers, the sound techs, the lighting techs, the light designers, the show designers. And I mean,
Well, the field I would have to say the pool has come down.
Yeah.
I mean, be honest with you. And I don't go watch concerts, and I don't go keep up with the latest and greatest artists, just being honest. I'm old school,
Oh, yeah.
Give me the Haggards, give me the Jones, give me all that kind of stuff. Now, there are certain people that moved in through the time I've been here that caught my ear, and I love to hear them and watch them and see what's next, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I just hadn't, I kind of, like I said, I hadn't been keeping up with everything. I've kind of moved on a little bit. So.
Yeah. And here I am dragging you back in.
No, we kind of, but I hope at the end of this you understand why I've kind of drug my feet on.
Oh, no, I do. I really do. I mean, when you was telling me about it, when we were still working together, you were just like, I got it. Because I was the same way. 2008, I walked completely away from the music industry completely away from it.
You did lights and sound.
I did lights and sound.
Yeah.
You know, but I got tired of it. I got tired of getting ripped off. Got tired of club owners ripping me off. And, you know, you put you got your own gear and you're adding it to the place that you're at, and you expect to get, you know, my fee for one night was just $250, you know, but I'm bringing my own gear in. I'm bringing hazers. I'm bringing all kinds of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And into the night, while you're tearing all your stuff back out of there, where in the hell did the club owner go? Where's my money? You know, and I just got sick of it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the only one. I mean, artists that were playing on, you know, hey, we were promised blah, 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 and they didn't get shit.
Well, fortunately, I mean, you know, and I've been in the game for a while, had been in the game for a long while. I mean, when you were young and getting at it, man, playing for free was nothing, dude. You just wanted to play.
Yeah.
And I can give you an example. I was playing in a band, and we played in Dover, Leatherwood, I believe it was. And we played a 4-hour show there at the marina. And one of the friends of the bass player had a weekend house there.
Right.
And so they had a get down afterwards. And it went into, I was playing till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
Just solo. And just because, and ended up making an additional $200 after that, because they were cooking steaks, they were throwing money in the hat, they were just play another one, you know. So it was just for the love of it, you know. It wasn't about the money. Now, I mean, you know,
I don't know. The steak was pretty good.
yeah. Dude, me and it's funny, the homeowner, we set up till 4 o'clock eating steaks. He cooked because I hadn't eaten at that point.
Yeah.
The whole day.
Wow.
And so he cooked us both a steak, and we had horseradish sauce, and we just sat there and just talked in the kitchen and ate till wee hours of the morning, man.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. But anyways, yeah, I mean, you just did it for the love of it. I mean,
Well, I mean, back in the earlier days, that would have been worth it to me.
absolutely.
Just for the steak, the memory of it,
Yeah.
and that conversation.
Yeah.
You know, because to this day it still stands out in your mind.
I won't forget it, man. I won't forget it.
Yeah.
And it's not because it all came together. They don't all come together like that. But
No,
it was
no.
so cool, and it's a cool moment, and I think the longest I've ever played.
Yeah.
In my life, in an 8-hour period.
I'm surprised your fingers wasn't bleeding by then.
You know,
Tough fingers.
it's just years of calluses.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I can imagine. Well, I mean, you know, if anybody's worth their salt, they're going to play every day. You know,
Yeah.
they're going to do something, and then things are going to be calloused up forever.
Yep. Yeah. It's a funny thing. Defense mechanism. When I tap on the table, you can really hear it.
Oh yeah. Ba-dum-bum. But yeah, I totally get it. I really do. Cause I mean, it was just, I just felt let down and discouraged, and yeah, I was still driving truck. I was still making money, but you know, I met a woman and we got married, and she's like, look, you got other shit you can be doing.
You can't keep eating taken.
Yeah, you know, there is no going to the club, starting work on Friday after we got in, driving a truck, and sleeping in the club, you know, and doing stuff. And she's like, nope, that ain't it. You ain't doing it.
Well, at least you landed on your feet here, right? And now you got something else that's making you happy.
Yeah.
Something else that you can hang your hat on.
Well, I mean,
And doing for the good. So
that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was just, you know, it's.
yeah.
So did y'all get married in Texas? Did you meet her in Texas, or?
Yeah. Yes. So I was playing a show. I try to make a long story short here. I was playing a show, Last Concert Cafe, and met Jackie there, And we went to the same school. Her brother was a little older.
Yeah.
And went to the same school. So we kind of knew of each other, but I never knew of her
Yeah.
until she showed up that night at the show. So,
And then the planets aligned and all that.
yeah, there's a lot of those stories in all between that whole time right there. So, yeah, we did. And you know, it moved fast. It was fun. You know, I had a band back in the day. I was doing single shows, playing parrot pubs and, you know, the Jimmy Buffett kind of thing there,
Yeah.
and doing a lot of shows. I was making $400 a night, just myself, and then started a band, and, you know, just kind of move on down the road and move up and this and that, one thing and another. And a little interesting story, how what got me to Nashville was I was doing my own thing with the band, and we weren't playing live anywhere, but we put on a showcase.
Right.
And it wasn't soon after that showcase, I was hanging out at a buddy's house for his birthday and got a phone call from the guy who owned Soundcheck in Houston, rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
And I was working lights and sound a little bit for this band called 9 Point Mesa.
Okay.
And John was the manager of the band, and I was sitting at that birthday party, and he called me. He said, "Hey, we got a show tomorrow night. Do you want to be the front man?" And I was only working lights, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Wow." So he said, "Yeah, our singer ditched us and went to Atlanta or whatever." So I said, "Sure," because I'd been there. I knew the music or whatever. And,
Yeah.
And so we started. I was the new front man for 9 Point Mesa.
Yeah.
And so we started going that road and booking dates and this and that, one thing and another. And that's kind of what, remember when you had
Jeff?
Jeff Huskins
Yeah.
as one of your, well, that's what, Paul Huskins was the drummer of that band.
Okay.
9 Point Mesa. So I was like, I know that name. I know Jeff. I just didn't recognize him. So, but yeah, anyways, you know, like I said, we could go down that road, everything, the sequence of everything that happened. But eventually 9 Point Mesa kind of withered.
Yeah.
Some of the members chose other paths.
Right.
And then Dwayne Probst, the bass player from Little Texas, asked me, he said, "I'm moving back to Nashville. You want to come?" And I went to Jackie and I said, "You want to move to Nashville?" And so we consolidated, moved in with her father, saved her money, and I came here and lived with Dwayne for 3 months until I found a job. She came here on a weekend and found a job teaching.
Awesome.
And that was it, man. Got a house, and got a duplex, and just started building from there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So I love that.
Yep. It's a little story inside the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it got us where we're at.
I like it.
Yeah, good friend there. I mean, Dwayne, he and I don't touch base much anymore. He's still on the road with Little Texas doing shows and stuff like that. So,
Well, now Jeff's doing that stuff down at the Bose
yeah, I saw that show.
Atmos stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. It was intriguing. I mean, I'd love to be able to hear that stuff.
Dude, I'm telling you.
In the studio itself.
I'm telling you.
That is just phenomenal.
It is wild.
Yeah.
Because I sat in the chair and I was just like blown away. Caitlin sat in the chair, which Caitlin's a sound engineer. And Caitlin sat in the chair and she was just speechless. She couldn't say nothing. It was just, it was something that you've never heard before, man.
An out of body experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was, because I hadn't had an eargasm in a long time, but I got an eargasm off that. So,
Yeah, it was a good show. It was good to see him too, because I was just like, I know the guy.
yeah.
So cool, yeah. That's kind of how that moved and got us here.
Yeah, it's about, me and him would text each other every now and then. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah. I know, going back to kind of how I was talking about my mother playing in church and how I got kind of involved in music, because you take that on, you see that, you're going, what's that? And how do I do it?
Yeah.
As a kid.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And my mother played guitar. I mean, she would sit there and play guitar and Dolly Parton and all her favorites, Coat of Many Colors. And I would just hear her beautiful voice. She would sit at the end of her bed and pluck the guitar, and I didn't know how to do that. And so,
but it looked fun.
it sounded beautiful, right? And all the John Denver songs, and just she had her favorites, right? So, but she played a lot, and eventually, I guess it just struck me that hey, I want to be able to play that guitar.
Yeah.
So an interesting story is that the only thing that I do right-handed is play guitar. I'm left-handed by nature. I can do nothing else but
That
play
is
guitar
interesting.
right-handed. And the story behind that is that when I finally went to my mom and said, I want to play guitar, can y'all buy me a guitar for Christmas? She would sit at the end of her bed and play the guitar. Well, I took a seat to the left of her to watch her play the guitar and learn while she taught me the chords and everything else. And I would look over and see the chords. Well, she would hand me the guitar this way.
Yeah.
And that made me right-handed. And so that's how that every night after night after night after night, I would sit at the end of the bed to the left of her and watch her fingers, and I'd emulate it.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing I do right-handed. So
I wonder when they actually made
a left-handed guitar.
a left-handed guitar.
I don't know. I'd like to know the same thing about a shotgun.
Yeah.
I hadn't looked that up either. For years, my dad couldn't find 1187 shotgun that was left-handed. And my uncle passed away a couple, 4 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that. And he had one that he gave me.
Awesome.
Left-handed, because he was left-handed. So it got handed down to me after he passed away. So that was really cool, and I still have that gun. So, but yeah, interesting when it actually came up. And who was the one who? I mean, surely it had to be some guy going, I can't do this way.
Yeah.
I got to do it this way, And he just flipped everything and did it. So
Well, it's like Hendrix and all of them. They all flipped it,
yeah. But who was the first?
Who was the first to build?
The first to do? And we're looking probably like
somebody will
DA's
send a
here.
reply. And
yeah, going, man, y'all don't know that? Come
Julie's
on,
has
man.
her whiteboard out.
Isn't it?
yeah, Julie's got her whiteboard out. Hang on, she's looking up something. We got her a whiteboard. No, actually, she bought her own whiteboard because she was tired of she doesn't like being heard a whole lot on the microphones. And Caitlin, you can't put a camera on Caitlin for nothing. But Caitlin will talk on the mic.
I mean, I do wear tank tops a lot too, though. It's not the gun show here.
Yeah, she keeps working out like she is. She's going to be security also.
That dog will help her work out.
That's right.
For sure. Dragging you around everywhere you go.
The infamous doggy.
What's his name? Well,
A 1927 Martin.
Sadie.
The guitar?
1926.
The
So
dog.
did they came up with it, or did an artist come up with the concept, or did a musician?
Well, Martin.
Well, Martin.
There was probably a shitload of requests for one, and Martin said, well, there's a need for it.
Yeah,
So we'll make one.
yeah.
That'd be confusing.
Not anymore. I mean,
But I bet that 1927 Martin is worth a fortune.
yeah, I know that.
Have you been to the guitar shows that they have?
So you and I were going to hook up that one year, and I can't
Yeah.
remember exactly what happened. We didn't. But then there was
I can't remember.
the Amigo one, I believe it was, that was
Yeah.
coming up. We were going to try to hit that one, and in my mind, I kept going to Amigo show, and I tried to find a little bit more on it. And I was thinking, well, this is probably more Americana, more Mexicana kind of thing. Guitars, Amigo, since it was named Amigo.
That was what was weird about it. It was all American-made guitars.
Okay, so missed that one, but have not been to one. I've seen. I'd love to go to one, but it would be one, and that'd be it. Just to see.
Oh, there were some high-dollar ones in there.
Well, they ain't the money that I'll be able to spend. It's just looking. It's all I do.
That's why I went. I just wanted to see it.
I've done pretty much spent my money on guitars, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I've got my baby. I've got my 1980 Gibson Les Paul. Deluxe, and that, of course, I'll hand it down to Pearson on that one.
I'm surprised he hadn't already got it.
He's got it. It's on the wall. He's got that, and he's got my Ibanez. I believe it was a '93 Ibanez F4 series. So he's got that. And anything I have, like I said, I'm not in the game anymore, so just give me an acoustic guitar that I can play.
Yeah.
And it's good enough. So
You're more in the I'll give you advice section.
yeah, well, at this point, there's not much advice other than maybe vocals that I could give him, because he's kind of wanting to step off into that area of things. And really, I had no vocal training whatsoever. It was just hearing Mom, and I guess it came natural, that kind of thing. I had the ear for it. And I think he has more of the talent part of it than he does the hearing part of it. But it's doable. I mean, you can teach that stuff. So.
Oh, yeah.
But
I think it'll be fun.
yeah.
I can't wait to see where he goes with it.
Yeah, he's gone a long way. And I sit outside his door sometimes and just listen and just go, my God, how does he do that? I mean, he'll learn an album and in like 3 days, 4 days, sit there and just listen to it and learn. It's just great. It's great. It's great to see.
Well, that's what's weird, because my son is not musically. I mean, he jams out to songs, but he's got no desire to play or anything else. And God help us all if he actually starts singing on a microphone. But Anna, my daughter, you give her a musical instrument, 2-3 days later, she's right there taking off with it.
Right.
Well, she did when she was younger. She hadn't been messing with any of it in past 3-4 years.
And that kind of goes back to it either bites you or it doesn't, right? It's going to bite you. You're going to hang on to it and keep doing it because it's a thrill.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, that's kind of where those fall off, and that's you can see those.
See, I always wondered about like Eddie Van Halen, how he got started. He had a musical background, his parents, all that stuff. But how did he take it to that level of what he done? Yeah. And the only thing I can think of is he's like, oh, it'd be cool if I could, and just took it from there.
Well, you had to build something, right? I mean, you can only sit in your room so long and play by yourself.
Smoke on the water for,
I mean, at some point you're going to go, and an interesting story, and not to get off track here, but I used to, I had a friend of mine, his dad, best friends when I was growing up, his dad was a country music artist.
Yeah.
And was going for the big time, right? And he had his band, and they rehearsed in their living room. They lived right at our back door. We actually were so close friends that we built a gate between our houses, right? So we were so far in and out and everything, in and out. And I'd go over there and listen to him play, and we'd go. Then when everybody wanted to go shit kicking, we'd go to the bars,
right?
Willie's and Gillies and you name it, all the bars in Texas. And we'd go run around and listen to that. But he had a Marlboro amp, and I think it had 2 tins in it, and it was called Marlboro. Yes, Marlboro, like the cigarette. And I would take that thing out in my neighborhood, in my front yard, and we had lamp post that had a plug in the lamp post that stood about 6 foot tall, 5 foot tall. And I'd plug that thing in and crank it up. And my neighbors across the street, I'm sure, hated it.
No problem.
Because I would just crank it up and just start playing. And I wasn't really good at that time. I was just playing some little things that I knew here and there. But, getting it out, I just couldn't wait to get it out there and just to have people, because sitting in your room just isn't cutting it anymore, man. I want to get it out there. So that was my first step of getting it out there, what I can do kind of thing. So, and ironically enough, there were others in the neighborhood. You could hear them playing from the other side of the neighborhood. And we were all friends that went to high school, so we knew who it was. And they would play a part, and then we'd play a part. And
I bet that was awesome.
It was. And a cool story about this, semi-cool. My father passed away, and my son went with me over to the house. And I had told him about the story of where a friend of ours is passed away now, Mondo Hernandez, used to play his guitar, and I could hear him 3 streets over playing, and he was really good. He was really good. And I told him that story, that I would go outside when I was a kid, and I could hear him playing, and I'd plug up mine to the light pole and play and everything else. And ironically enough, we were cleaning out my dad's house and had the garage open and this and that and one thing and there, and we were packing my car full of stuff and whatever. And here comes this sound across the neighborhood of an electric guitar.
Wow.
And I pulled him out and I said, "You hear that?" I said, "That's what I grew up with."
Yeah.
And so we wrapped up there, did what we did, and we drove down the road. And as soon as I got to Gulf Bank there, he lived right across that road. And I looked over and I seen the purple walls in the garage, and it was open. And I said, "Let's go." And so we pulled in, and there he was playing his guitar in his garage all those years later.
Wow.
So my son got to witness kind of what I went through as a kid growing up about music and everything. So it was a cool little story, man. And
yeah, but it's one that you don't hear that often, you know?
yeah, it's kind of cool.
That
cool, man.
that's,
I mean,
that's like a level of cool.
parents hated it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Parents hated it. Oh, that loud music coming across. Like, hey, you shut the garage and all that kind of stuff. But no, it's cool to me.
Well, see, I've joked about on the show how I would like to get at least 4 or 5 clubs down on Broadway
Yeah.
with the live music to get those bands to just play the same damn song at the same time.
And you go live with it.
Yeah, I mean, something, you know, I mean, because right now you walk down the street and you can't tell one song from another. It's just
it's mixed. Yeah,
it's
all mixed,
just racket is all it is.
Everybody had the same set list.
Yeah, everybody have the same set list.
at
And
1:30
yeah, 1:30 today we're going to hit this and go, you know, and
That wouldn't make it what it is, though, man. I mean, you know, but
Well,
I get what you're saying.
we'll see. Back when I was growing up, we had all the kids. I mean, we all had these stereo systems, you know, that we had made ourselves, you know, because there wasn't amps and all that other stuff. We had power boosters.
Speaker boxes and power boosters.
Yeah, we had the power
Amps,
boosters,
yep.
and we created stereos.
Yep.
Our car was a stereo. That's all it was, you know. But we would go out Rivergate or wherever we were hanging out at the time, and everybody'd put it on the same radio station and just crank it.
I do remember some of that when we were hanging out in the parking lot of the school, in the back of the school
Yeah.
or whatever, and, you know, at night or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all just hung out, you know. We wasn't hurting nobody. We wasn't doing nothing. We was just chilling out, listening to some tunes, man.
Right.
And when Richard Pryor came, God, I'm dating myself big time. When Richard Pryor came out and he come out with them 8 tracks,
Oh, yeah.
my car had an 8-track in it. And I was the happiest son of a bitch in town when I laid my hands on a Richard Pryor. And we would set out at Madison, because we used to cruise out Madison too, in back of Madison Mall. And we would sit back there and just listen to comedy, you know, and just laugh our ass off and
The 8-track.
take a little hit off the bottle and just relax, you know. And but that was back in the day. They don't do that no more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But there are some who still hold on to that and pass those, I don't want to say values, but those traits, those sink your teeth into moments.
Oh yeah.
I try to as much as possible. The good old times and how we used to do it, and it was still safe and still a cool thing to do. But yeah, you know, it's not all gonna hang around forever, man.
Yeah, but you know, it didn't matter what state you was from back then. We were all pretty much the same kids. We were all just
You're right.
feral little assholes that just wanted to have fun, you know.
Who are now sitting in the driver's seat. Soon be sitting in the back seat. So
Who knows?
yeah, absolutely.
Boy,
One of those.
the retirement homes are going to be fun when we hit them.
And don't stick me in one of them, please.
What? Throw the Les Paul in your hand and a Marshall stack?
No. Hey, yeah.
Could you imagine that, a musician's old home? There we go.
You wouldn't last. They wouldn't let you stay, that's for sure. They'd kick you out and put you back on Music Row.
Probably.
You need to be here. So,
Start busking.
but we were talking earlier before the show about something I kind of along, the period that it took me to kind of actually think about what I would have to contribute or to express if I were to come on your show. And hopefully it hadn't, everything's been good to go here. But I started thinking about my mom was the first moment of the music, but there was a break, a very exciting moment in my life when I was like around 15 years old.
Yeah.
Hester is my last name.
Right.
Hester is not my family's real name.
Okay.
Hester is an adopted name.
Okay.
If my name were to stand the way it was and it wasn't adopted, my name would be Billy Brazell.
Okay.
But interesting story, the Hester name came from my father and his three brothers. Parents weren't very good to them, and alcoholics, and just weren't good to the kids.
Right.
And so their aunt was dating a man named Jimmy Hester. And they saw the situation for what it was and decided to take my dad and his two brothers in.
Right.
And the boys came together and decided that they wanted to take on his name, being their father now.
Right.
So that's where the Hester name came in. Well, I really didn't know who Jimmy Hester was until I was about 15 years old.
Right.
And my dad, for whatever reason, I didn't know until I was about 15 years old. When he told me about him and told me that he played music, my ears, by that time, my ears were just like, what?
Yeah.
I got to meet him. I play music. I love music. Da, 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 da. It's in our background. So he told me, some stories about him. And so finally I got to meet him, and he came over to our house, and obviously a cool moment, little man,
Yeah.
little short man, but had this folder, manila folder full of paper, songs that he had written. And story goes that he used to hang out with Bob Wills,
Yeah.
his own band in Giddings, Texas, and he did his side work as men's clothing. He sold men's clothing
Awesome.
back in the day. And so he came over and he played a song, the first song he played, because we were anxious. I was anxious. Play me something that you've got,
Yeah.
And so he played the song, and I was like, that was the greatest song to me, because that now I know is where my name came from, who he was. I got to meet him,
Right.
and it was just a great song for the times. He was 74 years old, I think. When he
Yeah.
was. So, but the songs struck me.
Right.
And so that's where I said, you know what, this would be a great opportunity on your show, David, to come in and play that song and extend his music ideas,
Right.
and move him into a place that I'm sure he never foresaw, with all the technology and the social media and all
Yep.
that type of stuff. And
Well,
kind of,
it's the internet, man. I mean, it's an internet-based show,
yeah.
and there's no limit.
But and that's just it. And so it'll be out there.
Yeah.
And there's been one recorded version of the song, and that was by me. At his funeral, the brothers got together and decided that they would give me his guitar, his 1947 J45.
The one you brought with you.
The one I brought with me. And so in returning to Nashville, and being in Nashville, they came up with the money and said, we want you to record the song.
Yeah.
We want you to record this song professionally in Nashville. So there was a band out there, I can't remember the name of them, but at the funeral they said, you know what, would you would you give up the rights to this song? And I said, absolutely not.
Oh, hell no.
There's no way. So I brought it back to Nashville. We went and cut it, and I wanted to play that so that at least it kind of moves his legacy in my mind up the road a little bit and kind of makes it tangible for people to experience. So,
I would be honored.
so I keep this guitar not on my son's wall.
No.
Obviously, it'll pass down to him, but you get tuned up here for music. You good?
That sounds great.
This is a song. It's called The Trembling of My Hand. I just happened to be passing an old place we used to go. I somehow remember the things that we loved so. I thought I had forgotten, and I was over you. But the trembling of my hand tells me that it's just not true. The trembling of my hand, my knees become so weak. Desire for you comes over me, and I can hardly speak. The memory of your kisses is more than I can stand. I know I'm still in love with you by the trembling of my hand. I just happened to be listening to our favorite song last night, and I somehow remember the times you held me tight. I thought I had forgotten, and I was over you. But the trembling of my hand tells me that it's just not true. The trembling of my hand, my knees become so weak. Desire for you comes over me, and I can hardly speak. The memory of your kisses is more than I can stand. I know I'm still in love with you by the trembling of my hand. I know I'm still in love with you by the trembling of my hand.
Man.
Isn't that cool, man? That is so cool.
See, now I'm sitting here wondering, did he write that about his wife? Did he?
So he wrote that with his girlfriend, June Winnie. Well, he wrote that with June Winnie.
Okay.
At the time. So,
Okay.
Again, his songs.
But that song is.
It's
It's,
and at 15, I was like, man, where have you been?
yeah, exactly.
How come no one ever told me about you? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was able to play that. I actually played that at the Liberty Opry Hall in Texas, like one of my first move up kind of shows.
Yeah.
So the whole band, and then we had a recording of that. It was funny about that recording is the tempo picked up in the second verse, but really cool to be able to do that and play that song that was kind of the first step. There's no recording of that. There's no, it was a tape recording of it. And
Yeah.
I don't even think I still have that tape recording. But anyways, really cool. And I, like I said, I got to come here, and the guys in the studio, 18 players,
Yeah.
I step into the studio, and these guys are used to playing the new country kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I walk in with this old traditional song, and they're like, what a breath of fresh air. Thank you.
Yeah.
They were very appreciative of that. So
Yeah,
struck a
'cause
nerve and always has with me, and just a great song.
Well, I love the song because the way it's showing how a man actually feels about his woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Well, he had me from the hook. The trembling of my hand is like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, whatever. But yeah, so cool. Yeah. Thank you for letting me do that.
oh no, you're more than welcome. I was honored for you to play it because I've been since you said something about it. I'm just like, man, I got to hear this. I got to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, and whether you like it or not, okay. But I just, like I said, that's kind of what, that's a very important part of my musical life that happened. That was just kind of like a surprise to me.
Yeah.
And I think at some point I knew my mom had the talent, so I had some of that talent. But then to feel that this man was around my family, my brothers, and raised them, and I didn't know about it till I was 15. I was thinking, what all did I miss? What more could I have gotten? I've gotten,
Yeah.
This kind of gave me a catapult. I was like, wow, he's playing this. He's been playing for how long? He's been. It can be done, in other words, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I rode that wave for a while, and it got me moving further and further on down the road. So
Yeah, because that guitar's got some history, man.
yeah, man. I would go once I, knew him. I would go to Giddings, Texas. He would play there at some of the little I don't want to say VFW halls, but halls. And he would be up there playing. It was so cool to see.
That is
I got to
awesome.
see him perform live once or twice. So, but yeah,
That is cool as all get out.
yeah. He definitely. He's got. I've got a picture of him that my father gave me when he passed. It's my grandfather with this guitar. A great picture, and it's hanging in my little girl's room,
Awesome.
right above her mirror. And they used to call him the sheriff. But again, he wasn't no taller than that camera stand, pretty much. But man, impactful. So cool.
Well, I mean, back then, though, I mean, all over Texas, I mean, there was always, I just call them Texas troubadours, man. They
Yeah.
were just
Yeah.
something about them. I mean, they wasn't working all day. They were on a guitar, and they were
Talking about playing for free, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. If you love it, you're going to do it.
yeah,
So-
pretty much.
To an extent.
To an extent.
Until you find out what the ticket sales are paid.
Yeah, I think me and you was talking about that $8 million thing, and I'm just like, I don't know. Somebody better read a contract. That's all I got to say. And where's my check?
That's right. So, but cool.
That's crazy as all get out.
Yeah. So, in this whole process I mean, gosh, Dave, it's been a while, and I told you I put you on ice for this whole thing. So it gave me a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do and kind of present, because I feel like, I'm not an artist out there on the rocks and doing the things that artists have to do to become successul, or at least in their trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
But I figured on that side of it, I would take you from that end of the spectrum, from a song that he wrote years ago that I found out about, to one that I haven't even played live anywhere before. And
You just like giving me all kinds of goodies here. You know this?
well, there's a lot, but I wanted to kind of consolidate it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and to have some meat on the bone, hopefully,
Oh.
for your listeners and watchers.
I appreciate that.
But it's a song that, a cool little story behind this. A friend of mine, when I moved to town, a lot of times, those who have been established for 2 or 3 years in town, they're kind of like, okay, they got their feet set, and then another passive people will come in, artists, writers, wannabe writers, whatever, and they'll see you in a club playing, and you're kind of got your thing going, and they're like, hey man, good song, this and that, one thing and another. I'm a writer too, which they're fresh, and they could be good or bad. I mean, they could be learning, whatever. It doesn't matter. They could be talented. They could be like me. I was more vocal driven than writing driven. So I met a guy named Brian Callahan, and we became good friends and fishing and hunting, or, you know, not necessarily hunting, but golfing and just hanging out together all the time, writing.
Yeah.
Writing. He was looking for a deal. He wanted an artist deal. Ended up getting a writing deal. But anyways, he introduced me to a writer named Stan Webb, who wrote, his name is known for I'm From the Country, Tracy Byrd.
Yeah.
He wrote George Jones. He wrote for George Jones. He wrote for Pam Tillis, Osmond Brothers, I believe. But anyway, so I got introduced through Brian to him, and we wrote this cool song at his house. And hadn't heard much from either one of them, but I know Brian, I think he got a writing deal and kind of went on his own on the road and everything. But a song, again, that I haven't played to anyone other than the immediate family type of thing, house kind of thing. But wanted to share that as well as being like the second song of the, I told you I was only going to play two.
I know.
So wanted to share that one with you as well. If we good on sound on going on another one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Caitlin's on top of it now.
She's got it going on. I don't know how
I
she's
become
keeping that
great
dog
at
at bay, but
I literally have her in my hand right now.
you must have a bucket of treats or something.
No, I should have done that.
But so the idea behind this song was we were sitting around and started getting into a discussion about how, man, it's just kind of like what we were talking about. It's not the way it used to be, right?
No,
It's not that small town feel. It's not. We're getting away from that as a whole. Miss it. Wish we had more of it. And we started discussing. And I think Stan came up with the thought that we were talking about how some of these towns just don't exist anymore.
Exactly.
They're just gone. And so we wrote this based off of that thought.
Right.
And it's called Shadow Town. Left on the dirt road, past that tobacco barn, stands a town deserted now. God, it breaks my heart. Train used to rumble, church bells used to sing. Now all I hear is a welcome sign, but no one left to greet. All I see is a shadow town, empty streets as the sun goes down, lonesome as the breeze, and ghostly memories just hanging round here in Shadow Town. Ran through that pasture before and after school. That creek behind the general store was our swimming hole. Everyone would gather around that roundabout for catfish fries and carnival rides. You'd never know it now. All I see is a shadow town, empty streets as the sun goes down, lonesome as the breeze, and ghostly memories just hanging round here in Shadow Town. I see is a shadow town. Empty streets as the sun goes down. Lonesome as the breeze, ghostly memories just hanging round here in Shadow Town. Left on the dirt road, past that tobacco barn, stands a town deserted now. God, it breaks my heart.
Wow.
Shadow Town.
Man, that's deep.
Yeah.
I love that song.
There's a little bit of old and new.
Yeah.
Newer. Actually, that song was probably written about 11 years ago.
But it more resonates with today's times.
It can. It definitely can. It definitely. Yeah, I think that'll continue
Yeah.
forever.
You know what's wild, though? And I was just sitting there thinking about this the whole time. Me and you met. We didn't know shit about each other.
And
And here we are.
yeah. Yeah.
And I have based on just watching you play and listening to that wonderful song that was wrote by that guy, Mr. Hester. I can't remember his first name. I'm sorry. Jimmy. And then listening to your song and the patterns and the similarities of that writing style.
Could be.
It was passed down, man.
Could be. Well, it's more traditional to, yeah, but
And
yeah, I guess you could find something in there.
say I learned something. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool when you can learn what your friends can do. So, you know.
You ain't seen nothing yet, brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you know. I ain't going golfing with you, though.
Well, I get smoked by my son now. It doesn't matter. I mean, he blew past me, and
You know, there's moments when your kids do stuff like that, and you're just like, you're very proud that they have took it to that level. But there's a little piece of me every now and then is like, you little son of a...
I hear you. I hear you. It just makes it look so easy, man.
I know.
It's like it's so hard for me, especially the older I get. But golf has always been his thing. He started when he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And I used to, I was sitting and watching on a Sunday. I was watching a golf tournament, and he come and crawled up in my lap, and he said, "What's that?" And I said, "That's golf." And he paused, and he watched the TV, and he said, "I want to do that." So I went and bought him some plastic clubs, right?
Yeah.
And ever since then, he hadn't put down the clubs. I used to mow my yard, and there was a Channel 5 came out and did a deal for I don't know what it's called, a specialty piece for him or something like that. Because he was at the driving range at Harpeth Hills, and one of the Siegenthalers was there. I can't remember which one of the brothers. I don't know if it was Bob. I think it may have been Bob was there watching him at that young age, 4 years old or 5 years old, whatever it was, and hit the balls. And he's like, you ought to get with get with Channel 5. I can't remember the guy's name. He spit at me. He goes, I know him over there. He said they'll do a specialty piece on him or something like that and whatever. And I was like, okay. So I let that marinate for a little while and think, whatever. So we ended up calling up, and they were like, yeah, sure, we'll do a piece. And what's it about? Because I told Bob the story about we would play. We got a little under an acre,
Right.
and I bought him those little soft golf balls.
Yeah.
Just made out of styrofoam, whatever, soft. And I went and got those, bought a bunch of the orange flags for like gas lines that you put.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I put holding 1 through 18, numbered each one of them, and I would mow the yard as where on a real golf course it's the fairway and then the green is mowed sharp.
Right.
I would do it the opposite way. I'd mow most of the yard, but I'd leave a lot of grass where the green would be, and I'd put the flag in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I would mow in the shape of like whatever was his thing, like Nike at one time. I mowed the Nike symbol in our yard,
Yeah.
put a flag in the middle. And we would name. I would mow in different patches, and we'd name them. And one of them was called Oreo Cookie, and that kind of thing. So they came out and did that specialty piece with him. And I don't know if it's still archived or whatever, but of course we got
It might be.
But back at that young age, we had our yard was a golf course, you know. So
That is
It was
awesome.
really cool. So, and I've got pictures of him playing golf in the snow. I mean, you know, so, but yeah, he's catapulted in that category, and he's looking to further his career and wants to play professional, and you know, college is first.
Yeah.
He's always put his academics ahead of that. So
That's smart.
he's fishing, you know, right now as far as for, you know, trying to land the college that he really wants to go to and hopefully play for in golf. So
That's
yeah,
going to be awesome.
That's a whole nother story about him. But outside that, he can do 100 pull-ups right in front of me in, you know, no time and just make me
See, that's where that you little son.
so it's on the brink of show off, you know. That
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah. But anyways, good
Doesn't
for him,
matter.
man. Good for him.
I don't know. I mean, I just listen to that one song that you wrote. I'm like, I want to play in your closet, man. I want to pull all these songs out and
There's like I said, you just acquire a lot of those ideas and thoughts and stuff like that. But it's a lot of times when you come together with other writers, they're not thinking what you're thinking, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you sit down in a room and you go, okay, has anybody got anything that struck them? You know,
Yeah.
and if not, then you're searching for ideas and you're spending a lot of time. And that song doesn't. Now there are songs that get written like that because they just come to you. And I've had one in particular that I wrote in 45 minutes.
well, this is what's funny. I woke up this morning and got on Facebook. Usual routine, right? So I seen where my buddy Clayton Q had posted. He woke up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the middle of the night and wrote a song in 15 minutes and then went back to bed. And I'm like, dude.
There are nights like that. I think I posted years ago, and it was MySpace back then.
Yeah, I loved MySpace.
And I put on there something about I wake up every morning with a song in my head, you know, that kind of thing. And that just shows you the adrenaline and the passion and the love that you have for it, and you live and you breathe it and you all that kind of stuff. So it's it's so easy to see that it seeps into your. When you wake up in the morning, it's right there, and you want to do it. So,
Well, I mean, when I was over the road, a lot of the majority of the time I was driving was in the middle of the night.
yeah,
And back then we didn't have cell phones. So what was you doing?
so you were driving and riding.
No, I wouldn't. I would think of things in my head, you know. It was like you ride down the road and you just see something and you start singing about it or something, you know. I mean, it's just weird stuff, you know.
Well, itemize, you know, find something, right? I mean,
Well, I started with I started one, and it was basically, it was comedic based
yeah.
because, and this wasn't too long ago. This was like 3-4 years ago. And I was driving the truck and a car passed me and it was full of freaking college girls, I guess, you know? And I'm like, the first thing that the thought hit me in my head was, because back in the day, girls would flash you when they drove by the big truck. They'd want you to blow the horn and you'd blow the horn and then they'd, you know, whip them out, you know? But the song all started with, "Why don't you flash me anymore?" You know? I'm just sitting here between these two doors. You know,
That's a hit.
bored out of my freaking skull. I just don't understand why you just don't flash me anymore.
It's going on with sad songs, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it just
Like on something like that. There is a lot of. I was with a 6-year-old in the house, and
well, you can't do some of those with a 6-year-old.
but we do make up some very, very funny. I just come up with lyrics and this and that one things. Now my 6-year-old, she seems to be the one that would take on the singing portion of anything.
Yeah,
because she sings in the shower, and so she loves and enjoys that, and she loves and enjoys, watching us pick around the house and sing. And she surprised me for it. She's like, "Daddy, you sing good. You sing pretty good." I'm like, "Thank you, I appreciate that." But yeah, we'll make up some just funny, just goofy songs, kind of stuff around the house, and it's to get her, the rhyme abilities, right? I mean, the words that rhyme,
Yeah.
and so it helps with a youngin' like that to kind of put that into a format that's fun for them. So
yeah. But yet, see, now I'm looking at another little thing here. You got your daughter, 6 years old, making up these cute little songs and everything. How odd would it be that actually a child would write a children's song?
Huh.
You have adults writing kids' songs all the time.
You do.
Why not have a kid actually write it for another kid?
That kid would be pretty dang special.
There you go.
I mean, that kid would be pretty special.
Yeah.
I know that I implanted ideas with my son. We wrote a song for Mom, for Jackie years ago. I think he was maybe 4 or 5 years old, something like that.
Stop whooping me, Mom.
Called Mommy. No, but a great little song, and I even entered it in a contest. Of course, it didn't go anywhere, but great little song. And I was doing it on my computer, mixing it, and it wasn't nothing fancy, but it was a great song. And so
it was heartfelt by her.
She loves it.
Oh yeah,
she loves it. It's her favorite song, right?
Probably to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I helped him along, and and started him on that writing road, I guess, back then. What rhymes with this? What rhymes with that? Oh yeah, cookie, or cake, or that kind of thing.
Oreo cookie.
Yeah. Good.
Let's go with the golf course, Dad.
Yeah. That was fun times.
Man, I love it.
But yeah, man. So again, I appreciate you letting me come on here and spout off what I came up with in that time period of.
Me and you could probably sit here and talk for another 2-3 hours.
Oh yeah. But
it just.
it's a matter of whether the listener will listen for another 2 or 3 hours. That's just it. And they're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't listen to these idiots enough. But I do really, really appreciate you entertaining us with those 2 songs.
Well, thank you.
That meant a lot to me.
Yeah, and it's good to see that we came together. And I did want it to be for a purpose, and so I'm sure everybody here sits in these chairs, say the same thing, right? And they want the same thing. But for me, it took a little bit more thinking because I'm not in the game. So
I know, and that's where probably why I bugged you more because it's more genuine, it's more real. Yeah. There's no hidden agenda.
No, it's all there.
Yeah.
It's all there. It's all in the books, and it's all part of my life.
Yeah. And that's what I love.
Yeah.
It's been an honor.
Thank you, David.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Look forward to your future. And any way I can help you and send you anybody else, other artists, if I come across them.
I'll never
do a
know.
little bit more vetting this time. A little better vetting, let's say.
Nah, we had a good show. I liked it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I don't want to call any names out or anything.
Yeah.
But I'll help you where I can.
I appreciate it.
But show up at the show that you say you're going to be at, and that's all I got to say.
What show?
What was it? You said, what was it? One night, it was Debbie Champion, I believe. I said, tell Debbie hi. You're like, I couldn't make that. I was like, oh, man, I was going to come see you, man. But
I get invited to so many shows.
I'm sure you do.
And it's just
and
like,
you
I can't.
list them all on there, and I'm like, oh, man, I'd like to go there. I'd like to go there. But again,
Well, that's one thing I do.
times like
Anybody that's on my show, I always try to support
Promote
them,
it, yeah.
you know, and
Yeah,
promote it and
absolutely.
do everything I can.
And you do a good job of that.
I appreciate
I will
it.
say that. I will say that. You're definitely on the thumb on that.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting here in a Taylor Hughes
Look at you.
shirt,
Look at you. Good.
just so I can look at Taylor and go, nah. I love that girl to death. Me and her pick on each other all the time. It's funny. She'll call me in the middle of the day. We done? I'm driving. What do you want me?
Very good. Well, thank you
But
again.
it's fun, dude. I appreciate it. And look, y'all, he ain't got no .com. He ain't got nothing. He's just got his Facebook, which is Billy Hester. Y'all can all find him there. And who knows? Maybe we'll find some of his music on Spotify or something later on. We never know.
Who knows? And, hey, I told you if that 2 million comes along,
I
a lot
know.
of things could happen there.
So, for anybody that's got $2 million, I know where a big cachet of songs are.
No.
All right, y'all. We appreciate everybody. Billy, appreciate you coming. And hopefully we'll get you back on here again.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Okay. I love it. All right, y'all.
Enjoy.
Appreciate everybody. Love you. Mean it. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Little button over to the right. That's all you got to do is click it. We appreciate everybody and catch you later. Look forward to the CMA Fest this year. This is going to be fun.
Right on. Good for
So,
you, man.
yeah. So we're out of here. Toodles.